Good morning to you. It's excited to get back into a game week. We had a much-needed off week last week, which was good for our physical bodies and our mental side. Obviously, disappointing to be sitting where we are record-wise, and determined that we must play more consistent football in all three phases, and that we've got to coach that better. And we spent a lot of time last week looking at what we think needs to be done in order for us to do that, because we've got obviously a very difficult schedule ahead. 2 games on the road at 2 really teams that are playing really, really good football, and it starts at Missouri this week, and they've won 7 straight home games, and I think Eli does. I know everybody has their rankings of coaches, and it's based on. And to me, the better talent you have, the better coach you are for sure. And to me, some of the better coaching jobs are done with those lesser rosters in recruiting. And I think you look at people like Eli and Stoops, and heck, Clark Lee now too, that I think are doing incredible jobs at their respective programs. With the kids that they've had, and they've had some time to develop their culture and get their players in. But Eli's, I think he does one of the better jobs in the country in all aspects in managing the new world that we're facing. And he's obviously one of my closest friends in the business. And it used to be Gus when he was in the conference, and now it's kind of Eli and Kirby are who I probably talk to the most. Eli for sure. I have great respect for him and who he is and how he does things, and it's going to be a tall task for us there to go and compete with a really, really good Missouri team. They're the best. They're the best skill players we've faced yet, and their quarterback's playing at a really high level also.
Hey, Hugh, as far as the players go, what was your area of emphasis during the off week? What did you kind of push in practice?
We had 2 practices. Obviously, we were on fall break, and we lifted and conditioned on Monday, and then had a Tuesday and Wednesday practice. I thought the Tuesday one they attacked extremely well, and Wednesday was energetic, as you can imagine, with them knowing they had fall break on Thursday and Friday. So it really fell at a good time for us. I thought their energy was great. The emphasis was on us. Here are the things we've got to get better on these short distances and critical downs on both sides, and red zone, and really what is our bread and butter, and let's try to make it look maybe different ways, but we probably don't need more. Let's do less and keep doing it better. So had 2 really good days, truthfully, for an open week. I think having fall break really helped it, because I think everybody needed a little break, coaches, players, and obviously we did some recruiting also. But it was a good open week.
You mentioned after the game that you wanted to have a physical off week, and you wanted to find out what players were willing to give 60 minutes in a game. Do you feel like you accomplished that?
Yeah, we were really physical on Wednesday. Tuesday, not so much. I backed off that a little bit. Wednesday, we were really physical, but knew we could be with the 2 days off of school. I'm really pleased with most of the team and their response to the disappointment. And of course, we work hard at teaching, the qualities that we think this sport can develop in life. And I worked hard on that. And last week and this week, yesterday, we changed it up a little bit. We came in yesterday, so they're off today as far as practice. But man, what will you be known for, and how you finish anything, I think, is of great value in life, and will set them up to have success long after they get through playing here if handled properly. And I'm pleased with the response at this point.
Hugh, how valuable was the off week in terms of self-scout, going back to look at everything? And then I guess what did that show you of the offense, and then I guess quarterback execution with Payton and those guys?
Self-scout, honestly, is about as good as it's ever been on the balance, on the unpredictability of formations, and it's pretty good. Obviously, our quarterbacks have I think Payton's played well at times, and you know, we've struggled at times, so it's there for everybody to see. But I think as of late, he's played really consistent, and we're going to need that the next few weeks for sure to be able to compete with these teams we're going into play.
Coach, can you characterize your conversations with Payton Thorne after some of maybe the confusion in the media about the statements after the game on that 4th and 1?
Yeah, I don't read the media, don't listen, don't have social media anymore. I'm very transparent and tell you exactly the truth of what happened. And Payton thought he needed to change the alignment of the back to handle an edge guy, and I think some of that may have been based on him asking an offensive lineman. And again, we've got to do a better job coaching. That shouldn't have happened. That wasn't part of the process. And if you go watch the film, if we leave our alignment like it's supposed to be and hand the ball off, Jarquez is running on a DB for an easy first down. So I understand his thinking there. They just unfolded a linebacker and on the backside, and so obviously we didn't coach it well enough for him to know he didn't have to do that.
Hugh, you said you're pleased with the balance. Yeah, y'all have, I think I saw in the stats, had the fewest running plays in the conference. Is that a concern that you're not getting the ball enough to one of the best backs in the conference?
Yeah, I think we need to get it to him more. I don't know what is the average per rush. So I think we've got to, you know, that's the one that I care about. And, you know, but there's no question 27 needs to touch it more. That's the frustrating thing of some of our short yardage deals that have been called and not executed at a high enough level where he actually touches it, and that's we've got to get that corrected.
Hugh, you guys have played a lot of young guys, a lot of freshmen this season. How much does an off week, you think, really help those guys kind of reset or, you know, kind of look ahead, considering they've never been through this before?
Yeah, I think, I mean, heck, you know, we've been going since, you know, approximately 1st of August, and so that's a long time on everybody, even guys that have been doing it a while, in particular, you know, freshmen that are brand new, and they're having to, you know, go through the grind of school and ball and everything that comes with that. So I think it's, you know, coming after 6 games, that's about as good as you would want it to be. And now, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it's 3 games now and then another one and then the final 3. So I don't know that we could draw up, you know, for a year that you have 2 open weeks, truthfully, them falling at better times. It split the season pretty good for us, it looks like. And I think the freshmen certainly, you know, benefited. Everybody was a little sore and beat up. We've had some physical games. And then the mental side of handling not being exactly where you had hoped to be, I think was good timing for that also.
The offensive line, too tall, been banged up some. Did this week give you a chance to maybe look at that group again, maybe just to see if you got the right moves? And what have you thought about their play through 6 games?
We're running the ball effectively, so we're doing some good things there. Pass pro's been dicey, not at every position, but it doesn't matter. We're a team, and so we've got to continue to improve that. We're looking at, D Wade's playing some of both tackles when Too Tall gets hurt, and that has to shuffle us around, and Joyner's jumping in at guard along with Tate some, and the game moved a little bit fast for a couple guys at Georgia with all their shifting and stuff, and it showed. And so we're looking at, because you can expect once people put on tape that something worked, because Georgia did a good job of studying our Oklahoma game, which I thought we did really good stuff in that game, and they were shifting right before the snap, and it gave us some problems with just our mental execution of what I should do on this pass pro or what I should do on this run play for a couple guys, and we practiced that, but it didn't show very well on film, and we've got to get that corrected for sure. Because, and then another, no one's asked me, but Corey Batoon's the defensive coordinator at Missouri, and he's one of my guys and was with me, how many years? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So, he's been with me 8 to 9 years on my staff, and we've talked a lot of ball. And so he's a heck of a guy and heck of a defensive coordinator, and doing a great job there for Eli. And so that presents its own challenges.
Coach, I just to go off of that, with Eli and then with Bethune there, you just talked a lot of ball with both of those guys. When you look at this Missouri team, a lot of people look at that Texas A&M game and have some statements about this group, but what are you looking at about this team, and what stands out to you about this Missouri team?
Yeah, I look at the consistency over, last year and most of this year. Obviously, things can happen when you go on the road in this conference, and a team gets the momentum and has the right game plan and the right call, and you get really, Missouri had a chance to really stay in that game early and had like 3 penalties and calls that went horribly against them, and it kind of just snowballed, which you see that happen from time to time. But I don't make too much of that. I know what I see on film, and I know the consistency that they've been about almost every single game for the last 15 or so. They beat Ohio State in a bowl game and have many of those same kids back. And this is a top 20 team for sure, if not higher, and hadn't lost at home in a long time. They're a really quality football team.
You mentioned, you talked a lot last week about improving the execution being one of your focuses. How do you as a coaching staff, what are sort of the steps you can do during the bye week, I guess, sort of tangibly to work on that? Well,
the thing that's been good is having time. Like today, we have most of the game plan in because we obviously started last week. And so now are we really, really sure from everybody in this room that you feel really, really good about your kids executing this against all these different looks that we may or may not see on this given play, particularly on these critical down calls. And so just having the time to really, all right, let's go back and watch it again. Let's go back and watch it again for the third time this morning on 3 different deals that and so it will be really, and I don't know, again, you got to block and tackle, and you got to catch the football, and you got to make the right read at quarterback. But if we have a critical down, it will be very, 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 very disheartening and infuriating if another situation happens on a 4th and 1 or a 3rd and 1 where our kids don't have a clear understanding of what should happen. That would be quite infuriating.
Every coach everywhere talks about consistency, which in college football, where you got young guys and older guys and guys with so many things going on around them, how do you, as a program, more than this week, but as a program, how do you establish that kind of consistency that you need to be successful?
Well, it starts with us demanding it in practice, and that's become harder and harder to do in ways that we used to do. But I don't think you can get it unless you demand it consistently in practice. And then the second phase to that would be that your team demands it. So, you know, one of the best teams are when you can take freshmen and say, hey, let's use DeMarcus Riddick or Jalen Crawford or Cam Coleman or Perry Thompson or Malcolm Simmons, any of them, and say, hey, guys, let me show you what this really is supposed to look like. Go watch these 5 guys. And that's when you get on to some consistency. All right, well, who are those 5 guys right now for them? And I think that's one of the things we're struggling with a little bit, you know, is some of our best guys are younger guys that are trying to do it the right way. But you really, when you start having a team where you have those older guys where you say, go watch him and everything he does. And that's what consistency looks like. And that's where we're trying to get as a program, and that's where some like Missouri, I think they have those guys in the building right now, but they've had time. And we're going to have them too, and we've gotten better at that, but we still don't have enough that you say that's exactly what it's supposed to look like.
Hugh, you mentioned Missouri's skill talent. They've got 2 receivers this year, Burden and Weiss, that are, you know, towards the top of the SEC. You guys play a ton of young guys, especially a corner. Just talk a little bit about that matchup and getting those guys prepared for what you said would be one of the toughest matchups they're going to have all year.
Yeah, it's not one that you just get overjoyed about. I mean, truthfully, it's you know, they've got veteran guys that have proven to be some of the best in this league, whether they're going against, you know, the top tier corners and safeties or not. And, you know, we're due to some injuries and then just to our youth, obviously it's going to be a great test for us. And, you know, we got to find a way to get them some help and eliminate the explosive plays, which is very difficult to do against them. But, again, it's part of the growing process of where we are currently, and I'm sure our kids will be excited for the challenge.
Coach, there was a note earlier this week that Auburn leads the nation in snaps on defense by true freshmen. You've got a defensive coordinator that's given up only 400 yards one time this year to any team. You know, can you talk about the job that DJ Durkin is doing and what we could expect to see on defense here?
I couldn't be more pleased, truthfully, with the passion, the energy, the level of detail that I see from our defensive staff. I know that they're frustrated with, you know, not performing well in certain critical downs and all of that, just like we all are. But as far as the buy-in from DJ's leadership to Charles Kelly to Von Trail and Josh and Crime and all the assistants on that side, I just couldn't be more pleased with what I see happening and what I think can be the future under their leadership. So really pleased with them.
Hugh, less than 2 months to go until signing day. How do you kind of feel about where the 25 class is at, and what's your message to these guys to stick with you as the season isn't going exactly as you want?
Yeah, that's why they want to come here. That's the reason they should want to come, is you're coming to a place that's proven it can play for national championships. It's one of only 6 that's done it in the last 13 years, on twice, played for it. And so it's proven it can. We got the resources. Now let's get the roster that rivals, you know, the ones who are playing for it. And if you want an opportunity to do that in an environment that you know fits you, come be a trendsetter and let's do something new and different. Yeah, you can go to the places that are currently doing it, or you can help restore one that's proven it can also do it. And so I feel really good right now. Obviously, there's the battles for the guys we want are never over, and you've got to continue to fight for that. But I feel like we're in a pretty good position, hopefully, to finish strong with another top 5-ish class.
You talked about kind of short yardage and quarterback. How do you balance that? Because Payton has done a lot of good things at the line of scrimmage. How do you balance?
Yes.
How do you balance that freedom with also making sure that in certain spots, hey, we need to do this no matter what we're seeing?
Well, he just didn't have a complete understanding of the play, and that's our fault. It was a new play as far as blocking scheme, but didn't have to handle the backside edge. And again, that's we didn't obviously coach it well enough.
Yeah, Hugh, earlier you were saying you're pretty close with Eli, that you know him and you like him. Talk to me about how you got to know him. Is it through Gus?
Yeah, through Gus. He was an assistant with Gus, and then throughout the years, I don't know where we started, truthfully, developing a friendship, but it came pretty naturally, and we gravitate to one another, and our wives do when we are at common places, and whether it's SEC meetings or whether it's the Peach Bowl Classic or I don't know. We just kind of, I think we're made of a similar mindset of what coaching should be about, and the bigger picture of trying to keep the bigger picture of the impacting of others as important as the wins and losses, which is very difficult to do. I think we see all of those things very, very similarly. He's a person of faith. So we just, I don't know, the friendship's real, genuine. We talk about a lot of things. We talk very frequently, truthfully, and we've talked twice this week already, and, I've got to cut him off. But he, and he's got some other friends there too that have coached with me. So but the great thing is it's a genuine, real friendship, not just a professional something, very similar to Gus and I.